Welcome back to Newswatch, the Year in Review. ISU TV reporters Brandon Blue and Rachel Begle take a look at a competition with the goal of defending cyberspace.
This weekend, the 6th annual Cyber Defense Competition was held in the Howe Atrium at Iowa State. This competition featured some of the best and brightest technology students at Iowa State University, as well as celebrities in the information assurance field. Students and interested adults joined one of 4 teams: blue, red, green, and white. For this competition, the blue team had to build a series of websites. The red team of professionals attempted to hack the websites. The white team judged, and the green team rated the sites on their user-friendliness. CDC organizer Matthew Sullivan explained that a lot of time and effort went into making this competition run smoothly.
We started right at the end of August, pretty much the very first day of school is when you hit the ground running on this event. So it takes a lot of time to certainly prepare and get ready for. And so it requires planning all your systems, getting all the equipment up and running. For the last week, I have probably been here about 80 or 90 hours.
Matt also explains that the competitions the university holds throughout the year are essential for any student planning to make cyber defense their future.
And I think it's certainly worth my time and worth their time to get involved. And I'm glad that we have people in the industry who are these red team members who are willing to also express that they think it's worth their time to come in and actually try to help these guys learn a little bit more about security.
Team Narwhal, headed by ISU TV's own Zach Heilman, won this year's competition and will be competing in the national competition later this year. Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Brandon Blue with Rachel Begle.
Well, Rachel, I thought that Matt was a very kind interviewer.
Yeah, I know Matt pretty well, so I would say he really knows his stuff. He's a great guy to go to when you have any computer problem.
He seems like it. I was not impressed, however, with the IT professionals that they brought in to put in that little room.
No, they were very
not happy
mean.
about us being
And they
there.
shut the blinds and they were trying to film through the window.
We were peeking in, and they just basically closed the blinds surreptitiously while we were just kind of trying to see what was going on in there. It was kind of fun. They thought we were a contestant, like trying to get their secrets.
Trying to get something ahead of time.
Exactly.
Something very top secret was going on there.
For sure. You know
I really don't want to know what was going on.
Well, thank you, Rachel.
Yeah, thank
Thanks,
you.
Rachel.
Before you go to bed, make sure the bed bugs literally aren't biting. Rachel Begle shows us how the Department of Residence fights these little critters.
Universities, hotels, and homes across the country all have a pesky problem. You don't have to look far to find the source of this problem. In fact, all you have to do is look beneath your sheets. Bedbug infestations are popping up everywhere, unfortunately even in Ames. The tan blood-sucking bugs have been found in hotels and homes in the area, as well as in Iowa State's Schiller University apartments. Iowa State Manager of Residence Hall Maintenance, Richard Gary, explains that it is hard to tell if you have a bedbug problem because different people have different reactions to the pests.
The bedbug bite itself will react differently to different people. You could get bit by a bedbug and have absolutely no reaction. I could get bit by a bedbug and I will have anything from a small-looking welt to a large welt.
Richard also recommends that students stay away from used furniture and says furniture set on the curb is very likely to be infested with the pests. Richard explains that the best way to check your bed for the bugs is simply to strip your mattress and check the seams.
And what I brought out is, this is a typical mattress that we use here on campus. And what you'll find is if you have bed bugs, is that you'll actually see little black droppings around this seam. And then what you do is when you lift the seam up, you'll actually see live bed bugs. These are visible. People don't think, that they're invisible. No, they're not invisible. They're very visible. You actually can tell if you have bed bugs in your bed.
One way the university is trying to combat these pests is by switching to mattresses with plastic lining and inside seams. The bugs can't climb on the plastic lining, and with seams on the inside, these bugs have no place to hide.
Students living in university housing who think they may have a bedbug problem are urged to contact the Service Center at 515-294-3322. Keeping you bedbug free, I'm Rachel Begle for Newswatch.
So, Rachel, what was up with that little mattress thing?
You know, he had them to show me. I think they were just samples to show the different types of mattresses.
that they have on campus, but they came in handy. He showed me how to check for bed bugs, and I check for bed bugs on every single bed I stay on now, still to this day.
So they said something about how some students aren't necessarily going to notice them, but they should still check for them, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's different for everybody, so what might give somebody a rash all over their body, maybe somebody else just thinks they have like a mosquito or a spider bite. But I mean, if you're waking up night after night and feeling kind of itchy or I guess a little unrested, then maybe you should check your bed for bed bugs. And it takes like 10 minutes to do so.
So how have they continued to fight this as the semester and the year has progressed?
Well, I know there was one more case announced in Frederickson Court, actually, and another one in SUV for this year. But both cases came from students going traveling. Kind of, you know, New York City is especially a bad place. When people go travel there, they don't set their suitcases, just set them on the floor. They crawl in, they get out. So they contained both cases, and as far as I know, there haven't been any since about January. So
Awesome. That's fantastic news. Rachel, thanks.
thank you.
Few on-campus clubs here at ISU encourage members to learn sword fighting, don homemade armor, and hack off each other's limbs. Reporter Addie Olson takes us to the medieval re-creationist club, where that sort of thing is all in a day's work.
Walking past the Kill the Animal Pavilion on a Wednesday night, you might hear the thump and whack of sword on shield, or rattan on leather. Either way, what you're hearing is the ISU Medieval Recreationist Club.
We have a weekly practice, which is where we are tonight. And here we've got some people fighting, and we've got other people who are just hanging out, talking, working on projects.
Combat in the club can seem confusing at first. Sam Ossie, known better as Oli, explains.
The first thing to understand is it's on the honor system. There are no judges. The ultimate decision of who wins and loses is up to the fighters. It's an honor system wherein you have to call your own shots. If I get hit in the arm, it is up to me to decide whether it was hard enough.
Combatants are required to wear a significant amount of armor before they can even participate.
Everyone needs to have a helmet, a gorget protecting their throat, kidney protection, elbows, hand protection, knee, and of course groin protection.
Even with the honor system and armor requirements in place, the fighting can be chaotic.
The fighting itself is full speed, full contact, unchoreographed. No one knows who's going to win until the fight's done.
The Medieval Recreationist Club doesn't end or begin with combat, though. Other aspects of medieval life are the focus of next Saturday's event, the Royal University of Sheer Havoc, also known as RESH.
It's a series of classes on nearly every topic that we address in our reenactment. That is, we have fighting classes, we have music classes, art, dance, costuming, as well as historical lessons.
To join, interested students need only show up to a weekly practice.
Show up. There is no fee to come and participate at our local events. No costume is required, no gear is required. All you have to do is show up and say, "Hi, I'm here, I'd like to play."
I'm Addie Olson for ISUtv.
What an interesting group of people.
They truly were.
That was an interesting follow-up that we did. It never became a package, but we went to their they did like a gathering that was canceled in Kansas City, and it was actually held in the Memorial Union, and we had a very interesting talk with the Baron and Baroness, and also with their what was that guy's, the Golfanka? What was his title? Do you remember that? He was like their legal counsel, and they had a really interesting name. There's just tons of stuff in the SEA that's very interesting like that. So,
Yeah.
so they do they do their interviews while they're in character, or is it just kind of the conversations that you had with them?
You know, it's hard to tell because I think they always are in character. I think that's who they are.
That's very impressive to stay in that long. They should try some acting possibly. You know.
for sure.
There's a
Definitely.
future there.
Addie, thank you.
Thanks.
In the weeks around Halloween, students were able to find their scares just off campus at Ames Haunted Forest. Rachel Begle has more.
Weekends in October, Ames's most courageous souls line up to brave Iowa's #1 Halloween attraction. The Haunted Forest offers scare seekers a 25-minute walk or 5-minute run through the scariest patch of woods in city limits. Lee Ballard, co-founder of the Haunted Forest, says the secret ingredient for a good scare is people.
Well, we believe that people scare people. So tonight we probably have about 40 actors out in the woods. doing anything from, you know, Draculas and witches and ghosts and scarecrows and you name it. We let the people we hire, which are mainly Iowa State college kids, and we tell them when we start, you know, this is yours to do whatever you want.
Lee's brother and co-founder, Lynn Ballard, works on staging for the forest and says a variety of spooks keep people on edge.
You know, we do the chainsaws, but believe me, we've got things that drop out of trees and little things that scare people. It's the unexpected.
Iowa State student and haunted forest actor Blair Taylor Wagner has his own definition of a good scare.
Best scares is when you scare them and they fall down, or when you scare them and they continue walking. Like, I think I peed my pants.
This is Blair's third year working for the Ballard family in the haunted forest.
I just enjoy what I do, so if you enjoy it, you excel in it.
Other scares in this year's forest include Mango, a gatekeeping cyborg zombie designed by Iowa State student Darren Cleveland, and several chainsaw-wielding maniacs. Reporting on all things spooky for ISU TV, I'm Rachel Begle with Brandon Blue.
You know, of all the things that impressed me about filming that package, the Ballards were just so kind.
Yeah, they're just a great family organization, and, you know, they would do anything for a great scare.
They also thought just the world of the guy did the scarecrow. What was his name?
Blair.
Blair.
Yeah.
Just they loved him.
So how scary was it for you two actually to go out there then, huh?
Well, Brandon wasn't scared, but we actually had to walk through parts of it, and Brandon always got ahead of me, and I was, you know, carrying the tripod, running behind, and I was so scared. And all the guys with the chainsaws would, of course, come right up to me. We got stuck in this one room with flashing lights and clowns, and I literally started crying. It was terrible.
I remember that. It was pretty funny. Rachel, thank you.
Thank you.
We'd like to welcome next year's ISU TV sports director Aaron Bauer and Newswatch sports reporter Casey Woodley. And Aaron, what a year we had in sports.
That's right, Brandon. From floods that forced the volleyball team to play at Ames High to the Cyclone football team almost upsetting Nebraska in the last game of their historic rivalry to Kelsey Bolte making Big 12 history and working her way to the WNBA. This was a year to remember for Cyclone sports.
Coming up after the break, we have some of the top stories featuring sports and sports clubs here on campus.
Leave that remote lost in the couch cushions. You're watching Newswatch, the Year in Review.